Welcome back to the frozen tundra we call Wisconsin. Wisconsin! Oh my God, is it cold. The Atheist Underground Psychological Emancipation Railway feels more like fucking Snowpiercer right now, man. If you haven't watched Snowpiercer, I recommend it. It's a TNT show on HBO Max now. Very good. Train that goes through the snow because science has let the Earth freeze in their attempt to save it, and now it's 120 degrees below zero all over the world, and everyone alive on the planet is on a train that never stops running around the world, or they'll all die. It's really cool science fiction, and I think we're living through that right now. Wanted to make a few comments on the channel. Thanks to the new subscribers. We really appreciate you. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Check out the podcast, and check out our new TikTok, which has exploded onto the scene recently. It's all the rage, TikTok. If you don't have it, do what the cool kids do and get TikTok on your phone and look for Atheist Underground. The comments on YouTube, we try to get to them all, and I want to say that there are a couple of us who comment, and it comes up as Atheist Underground no matter which one of us it is. So that's why it might seem like there's non sequiturs sometimes in the replies. It's just because there's a couple of us. I apologize. I wish I could get to every comment, and it's just impossible with time restrictions and whatnot. But to those who enjoy our channel and enjoy our video, we really appreciate your support. We are here for you and to create community for the atheists and the agnostics and those sitting on the fence in this ridiculous Christian nationalist country that we are living in. For those who give us a thumbs down and who have negative comments, thank you too. All the views help, and it's more validation that what we're doing is needed. When trolls get on the channel and get so upset that we deny the existence of their imaginary friend in the sky, that they have to take to pen and paper, right? Mouse and screen, I guess, to comment in ludicrous fashion about how there is evidence for God, and such evidence can be seen everywhere in the form of anecdotal evidence, intuition, and things that just don't stand up to the definition of evidence. A long time ago, when I first got onto social media, I got into a conversation with someone who claimed that, say, a tree was evidence for God. And she would say to me, I understand that you don't believe it's evidence. Well, this is not how evidence works. Evidence has a definition. And if it doesn't fit the definition of evidence, it's not evidence. The fact is, if there were evidence for God, we'd all believe in God. I have no problem with that. If there was evidence for God, I would believe in God. When God comes down and shows himself, or when we find enough evidence, actual evidence of God, that's proof, okay? A lot of evidence is proof. Sometimes a little bit of evidence is proof. Like if you have mouse shit in your drawer, that's evidence that you have mice in your house. And that's enough evidence to be called proof. And everyone will go out and get mouse traps and do what they have to do to get rid of the mice. Now, unless God takes a shit on us, then there's no evidence of God. And evidence that a tree is evidence that an acorn was there. You got a big giant oak tree, that's evidence that an acorn was there on that spot at one point. It's not evidence of God. My concept of God is not evidence of God. It's only evidence of my complicated brain that had, or one of my ancestors' complicated brains made up the concept of God to explain the unexplainable. All right? I guess the case could be made that all the deplorables across middle America that voted for the shitbird president, ex-president, Agent Orange, are actually all turds that God shit across the country like a white-tailed deer. You know, they walk along the trail and they drop like rabbit-sized turds in a big bunch, you know. And if all those turds, if each of those turds is a backwards-ass country fuck, then you can make that case to me. I'd like to hear somebody talk about that. That perhaps that's evidence that God is up there taking his shit. But unless something like that happens, we don't have to prove there's no God. You have to prove that there is a God if you really want anyone to think that there's a God. All right? If God had come down and wrote his book all at once, and there was proof that he did that, and 10 people sat around and saw a pen pick itself up and write the Bible on paper, then, you know, that would be fairly decent evidence. But the fact is, we know where the Bible came from. We know who wrote it. And we know that white Western men edited and selected certain books to make the Bible that they wanted in order to do what they needed to do to control society and keep people down. So if you're going to comment about how there really is evidence for God and we're just not able to accept it or see it, that's fine. You can comment the first time and we might answer, but I'm not going to read a 2-paragraph answer that repeats the same flibbity-flu, all right? There is no evidence for God, and if there was, we'd all believe. So that's all I have to say about that. Thank you, trolls. You're all really, really upset that the existence of atheists threatens your God. Well, if your God was so great, then he shouldn't be threatened by a few people that don't believe in him. And if he was really good, he wouldn't send us all to hell for using our brains and not believing in him. So thanks again, everybody, for enjoying the channel. Stay tuned for more awesome content, man, and stay warm.